Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to another Phil's Monday movie review. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you're here. And my recommendation for this week is The Fifth Element. I'm trying something new with these videos, so we might get frequent visits from this guy. This is voiceover Phill, aka VO Phill. And just keep in mind, little heads up, we might get a few interruptions by that guy, but don't worry about him because we're talking about The Fifth Element, and released in 1997, and The Fifth Element. The fifth. Whoa! Hang on a second now, VO Phill. It's not your turn yet. Remember, we got a script to follow. Okay, so let's just follow the script. And man, fuck the script. Anyways, The Fifth Element. The Fifth Element. The fifth fucking element, man. What a beautiful, explosive, visceral, hopeful, bold, entertaining, romantic piece of cinema. It has been a few years since the last time I've watched The Fifth Element, but recently I revisited this perfect 90s sci-fi action extravaganza. And in VHS, no less. By the way, this may or may not be a plug to check out some of my shorts that I've been dropping on my channel. They're little VHS viewings that I've been having a lot of fun with them. But if you want to check them out, that'd be great. I'd appreciate it. And I would love you very much if you do check them out. Thank you. The 90s were truly the time of the video store. I remember me and my parents constantly going to our local video stores to pick up something to bring home. One day, my dad tells me that he's going to rent The Fifth Element because it has Bruce Willis in it. Little 9-year-old me didn't even know what a Bruce Willis was, but all I knew is that in the front cover of the VHS, there were flying cars. So that already had me hooked. As I watched The Fifth Element at home with my parents, I get blown away. I thought the story, the wacky characters, the sci-fi action, the bad guys, the good guys, the fucking flying cars. This movie, this mind-blowing movie, was the coolest thing ever. The Fifth Element is one of those movies that stayed with me for many, many years later after renting it at the video store with my parents. It's definitely one of those movies that I watch every year or so, and it's also one of those movies that I know like the back of my hand. So when it came to making a Phil's Monday movie review, I had once again a blast revisiting this gem. Let's talk about some of the characters in The Fifth Element. We'll start with Corbin Dallas, played by the great Bruce Willis. Corbin Dallas. My boy Corbin Dallas. Not since John McClane has Bruce Willis taken on a role that left an impact on me.
I am Corbin Dallas.
When we're first introduced to Corbin Dallas, he's a single man living in a small apartment in New York City in the 23rd century. He's ex-military and now makes a living driving a taxi cab. Corbin reminds me so much of characters like Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. Deep beneath his wisecracking, grizzled, depressed, low-income man is a badass who knows a thing or two about kicking some serious butt.
Anybody else want to negotiate?
And then Corbin Dallas meets the fifth element in the flesh, Lilu, played by Mia Jovovich. Lilu, one of the most beautiful and charismatic characters in science fiction. The way she is an outsider to the environment that surrounds her. When she's not falling into taxi cabs or eating chicken, she's learning about the world. What she's missed out in the last few thousand years. She learns about humanity and all the things that we have done to this beautiful planet and to each other. And of course, this breaks her. Lilu is heartbroken that we, humans, absolutely fucking suck. After learning about the history of humans and all the terrible shit that we've done, she gives up. She gives up on humans, this earth. She gives up on life, man. In the film's climax, she even tells Corbin,
"What's the use of saving life when you see what you do with it?"
Lilu was ready to not save the world, to not save humanity, but then Corbin shows her that there are some beautiful things in life worth saving, like love. With the combined powers of the stones and Corbin's love for Lilu, she decides to save life. Now, that is some powerful stuff, and it's very easy to say that the fifth element is actual, pure, healing love. Now, let's check out some of the other characters in this film.
Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg.
Zorg, played by the one and only Gary Oldman. Oh boy, Gary Oldman. Gary fucking Oldman. Zorg is the villain of this story, and man, you totally see that Gary Oldman is having the time of his life with this one. Zorg is menacing, but fragile. He's not as wacky as Jim Carrey's Riddler or as demented as Heath Ledger's Joker. He's just somewhere in between. With a big high-rise tower with his name on it and teaming up with the evil Mangalores, Zorg is the evil industrialist that represents everything evil Lilu learns about in humanity.
You're a monster, Zorg. I know.
Corbin Dallas, Lilu, and Zorg are pretty much the core characters of this film. But we also have the priest, Cornelius. Also, you have Tommy Lister Jr. playing the president. And if you know who that actor is, you know him very famously as Debo from Friday. And of course, you cannot talk about The Fifth Element without talking about Ruby Rhod, played by Chris Tucker. Fun fact, Prince almost played Ruby Rhod, but couldn't commit due to his scheduling conflicts. That would have been very interesting to see. I can't tell you how much I love this movie, man. From the production design, to the characters, to the director, Luc Besson. Luc Besson finished the script for The Fifth Element while shooting Leon the Professional, which someday I'll make a Monday movie review on that film, because holy shit, that movie also rules. For a science fiction film in the mid-90s, the special effects and CGI in The Fifth Element still holds up. I've never been to New York, but this futuristic take on the Big Apple definitely feels like New York. Besson showed us in The Fifth Element that man has an unhealthy obsession with technology and that humankind disregards the idea of being responsible for destroying the environment. And we see all of this through Lilu's eyes. I hold The Fifth Element as one of my favorite sci-fi films of all time. It's definitely up there with Blade Runner and the first Star Wars. It's a fun, colorful, bizarre, action-packed film with a lot of comedy and a lot of heart. To me, The Fifth Element is perfect. And with all that being said, The Fifth Element is absolutely 100% cinema. But that is it for Phil's Monday movie review and The Fifth Element. Have you seen it? And if you have, let's talk about it. And be sure to tune in next week where we talk about another movie. But until then, thanks for stopping by, take care, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.